Yes. What's going on, family? What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's stream with your boy Abel. Super excited to be here with every single one of you guys today. Let's get it, guys. Go ahead and drop those locations in the chat. Drop those locations in the chat, family. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. It is Sunday. The market is officially open for the week. And I feel like it's going to be an absolute banger this week, guys, for sure. And I'm excited for you guys to have a phenomenal week as well. All right, but let's see what we got in the building. I see we got B More in the house. What's going on, Tony? How you doing? Shout out to you for tuning in. I appreciate you, brother. We got San Diego in the building. All right, we got Riverside, Cali in the building. Texas, stand up. Alabama, Bahamas. What's going on, family? We got Colombo, Sri Lanka in the building. All right, we got Dallas, Texas, Miami, Swaziland in the house. What is going on? We got New Zealand in the building. How are you guys doing? We got Baltimore in the house as well. Big shout out to every single one of y'all out there in Baltimore. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We got Charleston in the house as well. New Mexico, Mississippi. What's going on, Jarrell? How you doing, my brother? We got Columbia, South Carolina. Winston, what's up? We got the Bahamas. We got LA. We got Michigan. My boy Devin. What's going on, Devin? I appreciate you, my brother. Shout out to you for tuning in as well. Let's go. Shout out to that boy BJ. Let's go, BJ. Good to see you in the chat as well, my brother. I appreciate you. Yeah. Hey. It's going to be a good week, family. I'm feeling phenomenal. I'm feeling phenomenal about this week today, or about this week for sure, guys, right? How are you guys feeling? How are you guys feeling in the chat, family? How are you guys feeling in the chat, family? You guys feeling great? You guys feeling good? You guys feeling better than amazing? How you guys feeling in the chat, man? I don't know about y'all, but every Sunday, guys, at the start of the week, I'm always feeling absolutely spectacular. All right, I'm feeling spectacular. All right, see, we got Michigan in the house. We got Indiana in the building as well. Canada, what is going on? Shout out to you, Lisa. I appreciate you for tuning in as well. All right, what is up? What is up? What is up? Highly favored in the building. I love it. It will be an amazing week. Yeah, it will be an amazing week. I'm pretty sure that's what you tried to say, Dennis, right? It will be an amazing week. I agree with you. All right, I agree with you absolutely. Hey, turn up. Hey, turn up. Hey. Yes. Feeling absolutely great and grateful. I love that. Ready to start trading on this live account. Let's go, Devin. All right, I know you're going to go ahead and crush that live account, bro, for sure. You've been absolutely on fire. I can't wait to see you get that first withdrawal, bro. You taking us all out to eat. Family, dinner is on Devin. Dinner is on Devin, family. That man got a six-figure funded account, live account. His first payout, he told me that he's going to go ahead and take the whole family out, right? Which means every single one of y'all that's listening right now. Devin got us, family. Go ahead and drop some threes in the chat for Devin. He's going to be taking care of the family for sure. I see we got Auckland, New Zealand in the building. What's going on? Detroit, stand up. What's going on? Tahiti. I see we got Tampa in the building as well. What's going on, family? Shout out to every single one of y'all. Let's see. Big steak. Okay. There we go, Jose. We getting the big steak. All right. Everything on Devin. Look at all the threes, Devin. Let's go. That's what I love to see, baby. We got North Carolina. Kosi, what's going on, my brother? Good to see you. Atlanta in the house as well. All right, family, go ahead and drop your favorite dish in the chat real quick, right? Drop your favorite dish in the chat so that Devin knows exactly what to prepare for, right? For me, let me go ahead and turn this music down real quick, right? Hold on. Let me turn this music off real quick because we're getting serious. We're talking food real quick, family. And I need Devin to understand, you know, what he's getting into, right? Because we all know Devin's going to get that first payout. We all know Devin going to go ahead and really turn things up on that funded account, right? So I need me some filet mignon, right? I need me some pasta. I need a lot, right? Just put it like that. I need a lot, right? I need a whole tomahawk steak. I'm with you, Anthony. I need the best of the best, right? I want the golden flakes on top of that tomahawk steak and everything, right? We need it all. We need it all, right? We need that surf and turf. There we go. I love it, right? The steak and seafood. There we go, Jacob. Come on, man. There we go. Salmon. I'll take some salmon. All right, I'll take some salad croquettes, right? The ribeye, okay. The pasta in the building, right? You guys are hilarious, right? You see how quickly you guys are to jump on, right? I love it. Well, Devin, bro, you better get them pockets ready, my brother, because we coming. We're going to definitely go ahead and pull up to wherever you're at, bro. If you're in Michigan, we pulling up to Michigan because we all going to be eating phenomenal on your tab. I appreciate you ahead of time, my brother. But, family, welcome to today's stream. Super excited to be here with every single one of you guys as usual. Again, it is another week for us here with the Private Society. And you guys know how we operate here, family. You know, the whole intentions of this call is to do a weekly outlook, a weekly overview get ourselves prepared for this entire week from every single aspect, right? You guys know we're going to go ahead and break down the fundamentals of the week. We're going to break down the sentiment behind the fundamentals for the week. And then we're going to go ahead and also get into the technicals, right? Give you guys some ideas to look forward to. Give you guys our opinions in the market. And then from there, it's up to you guys to go ahead and take all this information that we give you guys and then to act on it, right? Go ahead and do what you do, right? And actually take advantage of all the information we're giving you guys, right? And I know for a fact, guys, that the value that we do provide you guys on a consistent basis is next level, right? It is next level, and that's why I'm so excited about these calls, because every time we host these calls, I'm always looking for that one person, right, that's newer to the call, right? I'm always looking for that one person, guys, that needs just one extra piece of information that can really take their trading to the next level, right? So I'm really targeting the newer cats, right? I'm really targeting those of you guys that really just need something, right, that are missing that one thing. And hopefully we can be the ones to go ahead and provide you guys with all that value for sure, family. So we do got a few of us on the call today, right? We got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Wall Street Way with us. We got Mr. Kyle Prasad, right? The young legend, young lion with us as well tonight. I'm pretty sure the boy Skaggs will eventually jump on, but he isn't feeling too well, family. But we're still going to come out here and really do our thing as a unit. Make sure that we're all, pretty much being prepared for this entire week, right? So I see you guys are still dropping them food plates, huh? We got curry chicken, we got chicken strips, chicken Alfredo with that spreadsheet. You say I definitely get the feeling. There we go, Devin. I love it, my brother. I love it. Okay, Anthony, with a bottle of 42, we'll take that, right? We need that Wagyu steak with a bottle of 42 on the side, right? I love it. I love it. What's going on, Favor? How you doing in the building as well? Shout out to you out there. I see we got Wisconsin, my guy Alex. What is going on? Shout out to you out there in Wisconsin, my brother. I appreciate you for actually tuning in as well, right? But let's go ahead and break down the news for the week really, really quickly, family, because I'm not going to be talking for too long. Like I said, we do have some legends on the call with me tonight that are, really going to get into the technical side of things, right? Really going to go ahead and really break down the markets, guys, and give you guys a nice picture of what to expect for this entire week. And that's exactly what I'm looking forward to as well, right? Because I have my personal opinions on the markets. I have my personal biases. But the two individuals that we got in the car with us tonight, I truly respect, their opinions, right? So I'm interested to see exactly what their opinions are as well, to see if we are looking at the market in a similar way. And then if we all are looking at the markets in a similar way, then, that's only going to give us all a lot of confidence, guys, throughout this week. And confidence is what you need as a trader, right? You need confidence, guys, in this market so that you do not get swayed by your emotions, right? You need confidence in this market, guys, so that you can actually take the proper trades. Right, so that's why I love these type of calls that we host here, where there's a few of us, because we're able to bounce off these ideas, right? We're able to collectively come up with a bias that could really just give us a good heads up in the market, right? So let's go ahead and get into this really, really quickly, right? Overall, guys, it doesn't look like there's too much news for the week, but there is a big news event that's happening on Thursday with CPI, right? With CPI data, guys. So we do have core CPI month over month. We have CPI, regular CPI year over year. That's also getting released. And we also have initial jobless claims on Thursday, right? And again, this is going to be a big deal, guys. Why? I'm going to ask you guys in the chat. Why is CPI so important, family, right? Go ahead and answer this in the chat, right? I know we have a lot of OGs in the call, right? We have a lot of OGs in the building with us tonight, right? That have been rocking with us for the past few months. And I know you guys already know this answer, right? So go ahead and, educate the rest of the community, right? Why is CPI so important for us this week, right? Why is it going to be an important release this week? And why is it something that we absolutely have to be prepared for? I'm going to let you guys answer that. In the meantime, let me go ahead and see who else we got in the chat. All right, let's see. Abel, what are your filters for the calendar? So my filters pretty much just takes away, the lower impact news, right? So this is literally it. I took away the lower impact, the middle impact, and I just look at the big boys, right? I want to see the major impact type of events, guys, overall. So that's the only filter that I actually have for my actual calendar here. All right, let's see what else we got here. You guys are godsend. I appreciate that, Lisa. Love all the sauce you guys provide. That's love. I appreciate that so much. We got the boy Cody in the building. I see you out here in Raleigh. Yeah, Cody, let's definitely let's set something up for sure, bro. I'm definitely with that for sure. I see we got Houston, Texas in the building. We got my brother Tyree, another GOAT in the house. What's going on, my brother Tyree? I appreciate you. All right, so again, the question that I ask, guys, is why is CPI so important? And, you guys are answering it, right? Because it monitors inflation, right? It tells us exactly if inflation is still out of control, or if we are finally starting to see this thing finally turn around, right? It's a very, very important thing, guys, because what is the main objective right now of the Federal Reserve? To fight inflation, right? That's the number one objective right now. They said it numerous times. Last week, Jerome Powell said it numerous times, right? In fact, last week, guys, when we actually did have our interest rate decision, all right, the press conference that followed the interest rate decision, Jerome Powell literally shook the markets, right? He absolutely destroyed the markets last week during the press conference because I can't even say that word, right? He pretty much was making everybody know, yo, we're going to continue to do what we have to do to fight inflation. All right, so CPI is a very important news event, guys, that we do have to be aware of. Again, as of right now, the expectations is for it to drop by 0.2%, right? We're currently at 8.2% CPI or 8.2% inflation, guys. And for those of you guys that are newer to the call, CPI stands for Consumer Price Index. And all this really does, guys, it measures the change in the price of goods and services, right, from the previous year, right? So as of right now, this time last year, right, the cost of goods and services, guys, has went up from this time last year 8% overall. Right now, that's a big deal, right? And the reason why the Federal Reserve, guys, is so focused on trying to combat that is because we already have a big problem here in the U.S., guys, in terms of poverty, right? You know, a lot of people, majority of the people, guys, are living in poverty. Majority of the people are living paycheck to paycheck. So we're already struggling out here in these states, right? So adding extra fees, right? Making the price of all the goods and services to increase, that is not a good thing because now a lot of people are already struggling. So the higher cost of goods and services is really going to cause a bigger issue, a bigger problem, guys, right? And really think about this, right? If inflation is raising, right? If CPI is going up 8% every single year, but yet wages is not going up at all, that's a problem, right? That is a big problem, and that's why they're so focused on trying to get it back down to that benchmark rate, right? Now, I want to ask you guys this question as well, family. What is the benchmark rate that Jerome Powell truly wants to get us back to, right? Go ahead and drop that number in the chat as well, right? What is the number that Jerome Powell really wants us to get us to, right? Let me know. What is it? What is it, family? Let me know. Right? Exactly, right? 2%. We're nowhere near, guys, that 2% level that the Federal Reserve typically wants us to be at. We're not, right? So, again, we have to understand, guys, how this is truly going to affect these markets. This is telling me that no matter what this number comes out as, right, on Thursday, right, we're still going to remain in this very hawkish environment that we've been in, right? The Federal Reserve, guys, has been hawkish pretty much since the beginning of this year. Right, and again, for those guys that are newer that don't really understand what hawkish means, that just pretty much tells us, guys, what the Federal Reserve is doing in terms of interest rates, right? They're planning to raise rates. They're still planning to raise rates, and they're only going to continue to plan to raise rates. In fact, again, in the press conference from last week, Jerome Powell said that they're even going to have to adjust, you know, their economic projections, right? Their projections for what they expected inflation to be at, or not inflation, but the interest rates to end at in the year. They said they're going to have to adjust it. They're going to have to raise it, because they still want to focus on, you know, again, fighting inflation, guys. So we are dealing with a lot. CPI data is going to be very, very important for this week. You best believe everybody in the world, at least that's in the financial space, guys, is going to be paying attention to it. And you, as a Forex trader, also need to be focusing on what this data comes out as, all right? Because technical analysis, guys, is very important. But when you really understand the fundamental side of things, and the sentimental side of things, and you understand how, you know, CPI can influence these currencies, how CPI can influence these indices, how it can influence gold and all these different commodities, right? It's only going to take your trading to a completely new level, and I guarantee that, okay? How many of you guys in the chat so far, all right, answer this question for me, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish out for the news for the week, and then I'll go ahead and pass it off to the rest of the guys so that they can go ahead and talk their stuff as well. But family, the question that I have for you guys, right, is how many of you guys right now only trade technical analysis, like solely rely on technicals? How many of you guys in the chat? Drop a 3 in the chat if that is you. If you solely rely on technicals, let me know in the chat. And the reason why I ask, guys, because, yeah, it is very possible. I'm not going to say very, right? But it is possible to be profitable solely relying on technical analysis, right? It is possible. I would never say it's not. But for those of you guys that have been practicing technical analysis, guys, for the past few years, and you're still not seeing consistency, maybe you need to add a deeper understanding of fundamentals, right? Maybe you need to add a deeper understanding of sentiment and how the Federal Reserve decisions is going to influence these markets, right? Because one thing that I realized, at least for me, guys, in the beginning of my journey, I was always good at marking up charts, right? I was always able to mark up charts. I was damn near Picasso on these charts, right? I could mark the prettiest chart up, but it would never correlate to the money, right? So eventually I had to add something else to my arsenal, right? I had to add something else, to my arsenal, guys. That's going to give me a much better opportunity, a better chance of truly seeing some type of results. And understanding fundamental and sentimental analysis was that missing piece for me. So I truly believe a lot of you guys that are good at technical analysis, right? The missing piece for you right now is probably an understanding of the other side, the other forms of analysis, okay? And obviously a couple other things, right? Emotional control, discipline, things like that are very important as well, right? But just start to learn every single thing, guys, right? If you want to be a professional attempts to learn every single thing that they can so that they can find the best opportunities in these markets. So that's something that you should want to do. You should want to learn fundamentals. You should want to learn all these different things because it's only going to make things easier for you, guaranteed. I promise you that. All right, so that's where we're at, though, guys. Again, CPI is going to be one of the big boys for the week. I think, again, who knows what this number is going to come out as. Right now, they're expecting to come out at around 8%. If we do come out around that 8% level, guys, overall, we're still going to be very hawkish in the markets. If we stay above this 8%, I wouldn't be surprised if next month, when they actually do have our next interest rate decision, that they actually end up raising it around 75 basis points once again. Right now, there obviously has been talks of, Jerome Powell not doing a complete pivot, but actually starting to lower by how much they raise rates. They're still going to be raising rates no matter what, but they can lower by how much they're raising rates, right? The past two meetings, they raised it by 75 basis points, right? And there's talks now that, they can actually only raise it by 50 basis points. But if this comes out extremely high, guys, if this comes out above this 8% again, and if we pass the previous number, then you best believe they're going to stay at that 75, right? They're going to have to remain aggressive because inflation is clearly not under control. And I've been saying this a lot as well, right? But I don't think inflation is under control yet. I really don't, right? So even if we do come out maybe somewhere around at 8%, again, I'm still not convinced, guys, that we were able to really fight this thing. There's a lot of things that they've been using, guys. They've been doing a lot of tools that the Federal Reserve has at their disposal to try to fight inflation. But all of those tools, guys, which one of them is raising rates, the other one is reducing the balance sheet, things like that, a lot of those things also have major lags in them, right? So usually it takes, Jerome Powell said it out his mouth, it usually takes around 6 to 12 months, guys, before, everything that they've been doing so far actually starts to show up in these markets. I think we're in about month 8, so we should start to see something affect. But again, I'm not buying it just yet, right? I think that we still have a lot more pain to come. I think inflation is still going to remain high. And, obviously time will tell, but, that's just my opinion on the markets, guys. But that's something to be mindful about for sure on Thursday. Now, going into Friday, guys, we do have pound news, right? I know a lot of us like to trade pound pairs like pound yen, pound dollar, things like that. So any of you guys that do trade those stuff, right, be mindful, guys. We do have GDP data on Friday. Okay, big deal, right? This is going to tell us, guys, if that economy over there is contracting or if it's expanding. Obviously, the expectation should be that it is actually contracting, just because, again, they're dealing with runaway inflation, right? Like their inflation is above 10%, guys, over there in the UK, right? So they're dealing with a lot. So they're going to have to remain extremely, extremely aggressive over there in the UK. And because of that aggressiveness, we should continue to expect GDP to continue to decrease, guys, over time. Because, again, that's the whole point of inflation, right? It's to kill the demand for a lot of goods and services across the board. And that's overall going to affect GDP number as well, right? So that's something that we have to be mindful of on Friday. But overall, like I said, guys, there's really not too much news. But the two news events on Thursday and Friday, they are going to be very important ones for us to be aware of for sure, right? So that's our news for the week, all right? I think it's going to be a very good week for the most part. Just keep in mind, and this is the last thing I'm going to say about this news, right? Just be mindful of this, guys. The fact that we do have CPI, please be mindful of how the markets are going to move, right? They might not be as volatile, all right, as normal, because it might be the markets might really just be going sideways and be very choppy leading up into CPI, right? I've seen it happen so many different times, right? It happens often, right? Where we have major data like CPI data in the market itself, it really just consolidates all the way up into the actual event, right? So just be very, very mindful of that. That we could experience a lot more of a consolidation few days leading into the CPI data as a whole, right? But overall, I'm excited. I think we're still going to be able to have a phenomenal week as well overall, guys. But that is our news for the week, right? I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see exactly what the CPI comes out as. Right, but without further ado, guys, like I said, we do have a bunch of savages on the call with us tonight. You know, we do have the entire team with us tonight, family. So I actually want to go ahead and give them an opportunity to, you know, talk their stuff, right? Go ahead and really break down, you know, the markets and give their perspective, guys, overall as to what they expect, you know, the market to truly do, right? Now, before I actually end up doing that, let me just give you guys one quick rundown on what I think is going to happen for the dollar. And then I'll go ahead and pass it off to them so that they can go ahead and give us, guys, some phenomenal setups to look forward to going into this week, right? All right, so the first thing we want to look at, guys, again, for me, overall, is the dollar index. This is one of my go-tos at the start of the week. If you can figure out what the dollar is going to do, guys, for the most part, you can figure out what every single other dollar correlated currency pair is going to do. You mark up one chart, it can really give you an insight as to what all the other ones are going to do, right? So for me, overall, guys, last week we ended up, you know, closing out the week pretty bearish right here, you know, with this very strong bearish candle that was obviously news-driven with NFP. I think overall, guys, we're still very much bullish this long term, but I think there could be a very good opportunity, guys, for this market to actually go ahead and reach towards this 108 level. Right? I really want to see the market, guys, come back to this level over here. You know, we do have some area of liquidity right here, guys, that's probably been building up over time. We do have this little bit of imbalance as well that I really want to go ahead and see filled. So I want to see the market, guys, come back down to around this 108.5 level. And then from there could be an opportunity, guys, where we do end up going back bullish long term. All right. I mean, the dollar itself, guys, has been extremely bullish all year. Why is that? Because the Fed is hawkish. I mean, that's literally like the main reason why we turned very bullish, because of the Federal Reserve's or honestly, it became bullish before the Fed really even made a true decision in terms of interest rates. But that's because, again, the smart money was playing the fact that we were dealing with runaway inflation. So the fact that inflation was extremely high, they already knew that the Fed was going to have to tighten, right? So as long as the Fed is hawkish and as long as the Fed is tightening across the board, we have to continue to expect long-term bullishness, guys. Long-term, okay? That's not saying short-term, right? Short-term, we can expect some short-term selling, right? But long-term bias should honestly remain the same until proven otherwise. Now, the only thing we have to keep in mind as well, guys, is the fact that we do have midterm elections this week. All right. Matter of fact, let me actually go ahead and see what day is midterm elections this week, right? Because it is, believe, this week. And that is going to shake the markets, right? So this is something, guys, again, this should have been honestly on the news calendar, right? Something like that is a very big deal, right? So keep this in mind as well, guys. On Tuesday, we do have midterm elections. This is probably going to bring some type of volatility in the markets as well. And this could also drive, you know, some indice strength, right? Some dollar weakness as well. And that's why I think we're probably going to end up seeing this thing really start the week off, probably come back and test this candle up here. But overall, I think we are going to start the week off bearish. Just because I'm assuming that we're not going to be able to go on Tuesday, guys, into the markets with these indices just completely collapsing, right? I don't think Jerome Powell wants that to happen, because that's not going to be a good look, or not Jerome Powell, right? But Joe Biden, I don't think Joe Biden is going to want that to happen, right? Going into midterm elections with the stock market completely, I mean, it's been collapsing all year, right? But you want to go into midterms with something, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a little bit of a rebound just going into that event on Tuesday, right? But overall, it's still not going to change the fact that we're still very much hawkish. So overall, guys, the trend is still, for the most part, going to be the same from a macro, a bigger perspective overall, right? But that's my opinions here. I think we're going to experience short-term weakness for the dollar, but then eventually be able to go ahead and rebound, and I'll be looking for that rebound around this 108.5 level overall. All right, so that's where we're at. But let me go ahead and see what we got here, guys, in terms of the chat. Let me see what we got. I'm learning to mix in fundamentals. Yeah, it's crucial. All right, let's hit that like, fam. Definitely 100%, guys. If you guys are getting some value, please go ahead and smash the like button. It definitely helps us out tremendously. We do provide you guys with a lot of value, and the only thing we ask is just for a simple like in the video. It helps us out tremendously. So we appreciate you guys for doing that in the meantime. Let's see. Bank of England increased rates last week, but it didn't make the pound strong. Any reason for that? That's a great question, right? And that's actually somebody else brought up as well last week, right? Was the fact that they raised rates, but it ended up decreasing. Now, one thing you have to understand, guys, is that again there is a lot going on over there in the UK, right? And they're still very behind the ball in terms of interest rates and things like that, right? I mean, what is the interest rates of the Bank of England, right? Let me go ahead and see. They're at 3% right now, so it's not too bad, right? But they just raised it. Yeah, it's not too bad. But I really don't know, right? There's a lot going on over there. I know that for damn sure, right? They just brought in a new prime minister a couple weeks ago, right? After the previous one, which only lasted a few months. So there's a lot of different factors that should influence pound strength, which is what I was honestly playing last week was pound strength, and I did take a couple losses last week, guys, trying to play pound strength. And it is what it is. But we'll see what happens this week, right? We'll see what happens because, again, for me, from my perspective and my understanding, with all this fear, uncertainty, and doubt over there, the currency itself should definitely be benefiting, all right? So, like I said, going out throughout this week, we'll be able to get a lot more information, a lot more data, and then we'll be able to really just see what happened. But I really don't know exactly why I ended up losing so much strength last week because it really did collapse. And I took some losses because of that pound weakness, right? But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Let's see. They can't afford to pivot even if they wanted to. I agree with you, Eric. They really can't. Let's see. Sleepy Joe lied and said the economy was doing better. I don't know if you've seen it. I'm going to send it to you. Yeah, definitely said it for sure. I'll look into that Winston. But Joe's going to say whatever he can right now, right? He's going to say whatever he can to try to, make himself look as good as possible going into midterms, right? So you got to really take whatever he says with a grain of salt right now just because of he has ulterior motives, right? So. But that's our news for the week, guys, overall, and that's also my opinion on the dollar. I'm interested to see what the boys got to say now, right? So what I want to do is I actually want to go ahead and bring up, the first trader, right? And that is going to be the young legend, young lion, right? Mr. Kyle Prasad. So he can come up here and pretty much just start talking about what he's looking for. Again, it is going to be more roundtable style, guys. So, based off what he says, some other guys might jump on and just give their opinions. And I think the roundtable style type of style that we've been implementing where we're all able to come on here and bounce off ideas together and then you guys are able to also throw your guys' ideas in, I think it's super powerful, right? So, that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. But overall, I want to go ahead and pass it off to the young legend, the young lion, Mr. Kyle Prasad. Bro, you can go ahead and take over, my brother. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing what you got to say for sure.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on, guys? Can everybody go ahead and drop a 333 in the chat if y'all got some value from Abel? Honestly, I have the same exact thing on the DXY as you, bro. So if you guys are trading the dollar, definitely cash out on some of these trades. Just seeing some short-term weakness on the dollar following that daily close. I definitely agree with that. Keep dropping the threes. But, I definitely agree with your dollar bias. And I'm going to share like something. I'm just going to take over the screen. I'm not going to go too much over fundamentals. Abel kind of went over it. We have Tuesday, the midterms. It's on the Forex Factory. I don't know why it's not on the investing.com, but just keep in mind Tuesday we have midterms and Thursday we have the CPI. Friday we also have this consumer sentiment. So just keep a lookout on Friday, Thursday, and Tuesday. Abel kind of went in depth onto the fundamentals. Honestly, guys, I've been kind of playing the Fed bounce that we've been kind of looking for the past couple of weeks. I don't know if you guys have been tuned in. A lot of you guys that have been tuned in for, maybe like a month, 2 months, maybe even 3 months. We've been talking about it even all month. So even if you've been on the sessions all month consistently, we've been kind of talking about looking at a potential retracement on the dollar. like my man Abel said, because politicians don't want to go into these midterms. You know, we don't want to go into the holidays with the market just looking so down, with all currencies down, with all stocks down, with all crypto down. You know, we want to head into the holidays and see some sort of bounce from these pairs. And that's why the dollar has been on this rampage, but is now kind of looking to settle down here. And you know, if you guys can take a look at what I was looking at last week, you know, I was looking for the bounce. I was prepared for the bounce. And you know, the craziest part is we actually got our first initial leg down. What is it? October 21st. So, you know, that was maybe about 2 weeks ago, right? 2 weeks ago, we started getting our first initial leg down that made that lower low. When I saw that, it already confirmed everything for me. I actually was looking for shorts in between this little area as well, like in between this little range. Like there's no lie, I was looking for shorts. I actually got an entry right here, and then it went and made a new lower low on the lower time frame. I was like, man, I got the swing entry of a lifetime right here. And then little did I know, it came out, sweep these lows, broke highs, was seeking some sort of imbalance up here. I don't know what it was seeking, but you know, it cleared highs and then made its way to the downside. Now I didn't catch, like I said, I didn't catch, I caught some profits, but I didn't catch the major move down last time. So when I saw the market starting to retrace, and last week knowing that it was NFP and there was a FOMC week, you know, I knew that maybe we can come back, not exactly to the same point I was looking to an entry from, but maybe somewhere near that, you know, using my concept of buy low and sell high. You know, I was catching buys on the dollar actually somewhere here too. You know, I was playing the market both sides. You know, one thing that you guys can do prior to news is you know, look for trades on both sides. You know, me personally, I was waiting for a retracement so we could take this thing down. But in the meantime, on the 1 hour, there was still intraday setups like right here for New York, where you could have bought the DXY up, meaning you sold your USD, you sold GU, and you sold gold. You know, you could have caught some of those intraday small time frame, you know, small entry and exit, close within the same day type of trades. You could have caught some of those trades and bagged some of the pips to the upside, which I did as well. And you know, you guys could have held some of your entry even, right? You know, that could have been a good way to play it. You could have took some of these entries, took profits, but also held an entry and hedged with the sell when we started selling this thing down. And you know, pretty much closed out of your buys, held the sells, and now you're in a good position now. So you know, me personally, I saw this 4-hour candle. When I saw this, that's when I kind of started getting out of these trades right here. And I sold like right about here. And it was stuck in this range like the entire day. Like we were kind of just like sitting here. But I held and I actually rolled over into the next day, and NFP came out and we're down here. So, you know, the next area I would seek is this lower low, you know, just like Abel said, you know, I want us to come down and sweep these lows. And like he said, reach something like this area right here. But yeah, now GU, I'm gonna leave that to Mr. Wall Street Ray. He's gonna come on here in a couple minutes. But EU, I actually caught a buy on EU last week. You know, I expect this thing to continue. I expect these highs to clear. And what happens after those highs, we're gonna have to see. You know, there's a couple possibilities. We could just break those highs and just continue up, right? Or we can break those highs and maybe reject off of something like this. Who knows, right? We both don't know what exactly is going to happen. Obviously, I prefer it to break those highs and just keep going. But, we shall see. But I just feel like maybe any trades that you guys can see to take before we break those highs on an intraday level are definitely valid. What I was looking at is this sweep of liquidity right here. And we were just playing that mitigation. And again, it's pretty much the opposite of the DXY. I started taking the buys Thursday. Then we caught some pips, retraced, consolidated. The rest of the day, London gave us some sort of move to here, and NFP came out, and we're still running. So, it can continue off of this, or you can find the trade tomorrow somewhere down here. Just anything until we break those highs. Now, I'm actually still holding entries on EU, and I'm still holding entries on UCAD. So, again, playing that Fed bounce, right? Playing the theory that we were going to see a bounce in the market, right? We were going to see some sort of retracement. We're going to see the dollar start going down. I saw some people taking this, and this was valid, right? Oh, sorry. This was valid. I saw some people taking this last week, right? I think it was Jude, and there was a couple other people in my chat that were taking this, and they wanted like some extra confirmation from me. And I like this trade. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I really like this trade. And you caught pips if you took this trade. You actually probably could have bagged a nice 1 to 5, maybe even 1 to 10 if you held and took profit up here. That could have been a 1 to 10 trade, and it was more intraday, and I would have took something like that. The thing is with me, I actually ended up taking EU sells. So all this stuff that I'm telling you guys to do, I practice it. Like this sell right here in EU, I took this and called this out and caught pips off of that. Then I started buying. Then when I started to see the buy starting to play out, I closed out of my sells, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go ahead and ride this buy. And here we are. And guess what? I'm still in the buy. And I'm not gonna close all of my buy until I see some sort of indication that the market is breaking highs and starting to sell off, right? That's when I'm gonna close out of my buy, right? So, hold your trades until you see some case or some instance otherwise. Now with USD CAD, I'm doing the same thing. 4 hour, I saw this candle right here. This is what we were playing, right? There was some equal highs that were generated right here. Once I saw those equal highs took, and then we made a lower low, this candle was an area that the banks used to push price up. So once we return to that region, I played something with a small risk, caught some pips, closed some profits, but rolled over into the next day. And as you guys can see, that's some of the best positions that I like to be in before big releases, like FOMC, like NFP. I like to be in positions from the prior day, or sometimes even in positions from the morning or something like that. I like to be in a position with my stop loss at break even already, so there's no way I'm losing anything. And I don't want to. It's very not preferred to take entries during the release, right? That's something that I like to really stay away from. But I like to sometimes hold entries that I'm already in, that I'm in profit on at break even before the release. So, if you guys can catch entries before the releases, that's something that's very powerful as well. And again, if we continue with our Fed bounce bias, then this thing should continue and keep running us. And I will stay in until we see some sort of bottoming out. But what's crazy, guys, is that's why it's very important to stay tapped into these sessions, That's why it's very important to also stay tapped in with the Profit Society, because, you know, I hope all of you guys are staying active in our community, in our website, on our platform, because I sent these trades out to the platform, right? You know, on this update right here, I said, yo, your USD could break or bounce today, right? It wasn't actually 2 days ago. It was actually like a week ago, but I need to refresh my page. But as you guys can see, this was the before of the Euro USD. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete this. Right, this was the before, right when I sent it out, and literally no drawdown. After that 4-hour candlestick, we just started trading up, and we've been trading up ever since that. Same with the USD CAD. If you guys are active and you guys are dropping your comments, you guys are talking to the traders inside the community, you guys would have saw USD CAD also sent out at the time of the entry, and we've been trading away from that entry point ever since. So I'm not going to ramble on for too long. That's why it's very important. You guys could have caught over 300 pips each trade. You know, this one went 300, and this one went 200. So that's about 500 pips just from staying active in a free community, a free social media platform for traders, where you guys can collaborate with other traders. You guys can learn from your favorite educators, from your favorite 6- and 7-figure earners, right? You guys can learn from us. You guys can collab with us. You guys can ask us questions, share your ideas, share your trades, get feedback, and just really make it a overall great learning experience for everybody. So with that being said, honestly, I'm gonna bring on the next person. I want to say Ray. He's probably gonna go over GU. You know, he's probably gonna really dissect that thing into molecules of what the market is gonna do, right down to the precise pipette. So, I mean, you know, Ray knows no introduction. He's always on the call with us. You know, he's always just giving game on how to, you know, give 5 pip stop losses for, you know, 500 pip take profits. So, you know, Mr. Wall Street Ray, he actually called out the GU sell at the top. I would say it's about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So he's definitely on here to give you guys some value. So with that being said, Ray, I don't know if you're here or if you're ready, but yo,
I'm here, man. I'm here. Let's do this thing, man. Let's do this. What's good, family? What's good? What's good? Hey, man. Say, man. It's your boy Ray, man. Coming to y'all live, trying to show y'all a better way, man. I appreciate all y'all for tapping into the call. Now I need y'all to drop some 7-7s in the chat for all the previous speakers that we had today. Let me see some 7s in the chat. Let me see some 7s in the chat for all of our previous speakers. I want to see some 7s in the chat if you're ready to win and not pretend. I want to see some 7s in the chat if you're ready for the sauce and not be lost. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yes, sir. We got to bring that energy up, man. Bring that energy up. So with that said, man, I'm not going to be before y'all long. If y'all know me, I'm the technical guy, you know, like, you know, I love fundamentals. I love the understandings of what's really going on behind the numbers. But, you know, I'm a type of guy, I trade what I see. You know, I'm real deep into the technical side of things. If y'all know me, trading the lower time frames all the way up to swing time frames. It's all the same thing, in my opinion, personally. But with that said, you know, we're going to dive into a couple concepts, talk about a couple of the trades that I actually saw last week. I mean, we can kind of start off with that. Like Kyle had actually said, you know, if y'all was on the call last Sunday, you know, we caught a big bag on GU. Beautiful, beautiful trade setup. And you know, it actually went a little further than my immediate expectations. I was just looking for this imbalance here to be filled. But once we actually broke by that, you know, I kind of put 2 and 2 together and knew that we was coming down towards this low. Actually had my team prepared for that buy as well. So that's cool and all, and we all had a great trade if you guys were able to catch that on Sunday. And I'm not going against anybody's rules and regulations, because when it comes to trading, you have to have rules. Essentially, trading gives you this optimum level of freedom, and if you don't give yourself rules, that's what'll essentially ruin you. So obviously you need rules to follow, but it's always funny when people say don't trade Sundays, right? And if that's a part of your rules, that's fine. But I just want to show you guys something, that what happened last week on Sunday, right? Like, and the fact that it was Sunday, I didn't take many trades. I only took GU. But just looking back at it, I was beating myself upside the head because, literally GU melted, right? GBPJPY melted from here on Sunday for 640 pips. GA melted for 640 pips. And I was just telling myself, dang, man, although we had a great week last week, we could have did it much bigger and better. But, these are the types of things that happen in the market. It's important not to get, too caught up in the emotions of missing opportunities, because we are in the world's largest financial market. And just with that said, there's always going to be another opportunity to, present itself. So with that said, what it is that I actually see this week, right? What I actually see this week is a potential opportunity here on Euro AUD, right? So the reason why I'm actually taking this particular trade setup is pretty simple. We just come to the higher time frame. I see that supply is clearly in control, at least for right now, right? So ever since we swept this high here, we've been sweeping, making somewhat strong highs, right? Highs that are taking liquidity and making new lows. So when I see something like that, it's just very simple to go with the overall order flow, right? And what I mean order is, I'm just asking myself, what side of the market is actually creating supply and actually mitigating itself. So with that said, we see a high being created here. We come here, we make that, then we come here and mitigate, make a high here. We come back and test into that high. We make this high, we come back and test into it here. Even this high, we come back and test into it here. So essentially what's happening is the market, and obviously it doesn't just move in straight lines, so you have to train yourself to see these things, but the market is just pushing down and respecting these certain, pushing down, respecting these levels. And now I can get an overall understanding of what direction the market is really going, just by seeing which way is respecting the order flow, right? So just with that said, let me just do this real quick, clean up my chart a bit. With that said, I do want to take this opportunity on Euro AUD, primarily because I see a weak low, right? What makes this a weak low to me is I have this big bearish engulfing. I have small bullish candlesticks that don't engulf my bearish candlestick. I also see, if I come down a little bit to, let's say, the 15-minute chart, all right? I mean, clearly we see here, if you get into wick off, that's great. Just me understanding what's going on, I see the market consolidating. We're taking a few highs and now we're transitioning bearish, right? So here we swept this high here, and then right here, we also swept that high right there, right? So just understanding what's going on is the market is now taking liquidity and now starting to transition lower, because obviously we're taking out lows now, okay? And then we also had a low that was formed here. We also took that out, okay? Now, before we actually took that out, we can actually qualify this as a slight area of demand. Reason being is because this is actually a low that makes this new high up here, right? And now that the market comes into this area, this is the area where the market has to either bounce and go higher or break and go lower, right? Now that I actually analyzed the hesitation of that move, I can go zoom in a little bit further and see that the market not only created more equal highs here, but these are weak highs also. We sweep it here, and then we transition bearish, okay? So me just understanding that, I know that this area should act as a magnet in a sense, and I should get some sort of reaction out of this zone right here. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. AUD at about 15493. Okay, 5493. 1.5493. That's where I'll be looking to take a sell, right? 25 pips stop. My stop loss is going to go right above the top of my range here, because if I'm right, this high should be protected. All right, and that's if I'm right. Now, the whole thing essentially that I want to look for is the fact that, you know, the thing is, like I said on all these calls, a strategy is not a guarantee that the trade is going to win. It's just a framework and a perspective that you choose to follow. So here's the thing, and I think it's important that everybody knows this. Let's say that this happens here, right? If this happens, this doesn't mean that I'm going to necessarily go and change my strategy and try to figure out what's wrong with my strategy. Like, understand, wins and losses are inevitable. And once you accept that wins and losses are inevitable, you inherently lose the fear of loss in the markets. Most of the time why people miss opportunities and can't trade consistently is because you're trading to avoid something rather than just accepting what's inevitable, right? So understanding that studying and learning technical analysis, you don't do this to try to avoid losses. You just do it to have a framework to follow that breeds consistency, right? Your profitability comes from your consistency, not, the other way around. So a lot of people think that your profitability comes from not losing, and that couldn't be further from the truth, because we have to identify what a loss truly means to us, right? Some people think a loss is losing a couple dollars. Some people think a loss is losing a trade. Some people think a loss is blowing their accounts. Some people think a loss means you lose all your life savings, or some people consider a loss completely giving up trading, right? Now you have to identify what it means to you, so that way you can interpret this information differently, right? This information isn't here to hurt you. It isn't here to scare you, but the way that you interpret it is going to be the primary thing that makes the biggest difference. So you have to interpret these markets accurately so that you can get the results that you're looking for, right? So just with that said, guys, just a second. Just with that said, what I just need everybody to do is just take trades, understanding that there is a possibility for a loss. Even if you do lose, I want you guys to accept the fact that losses are a part of trading, because we dive into this perpetual cycle of study, 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 as if that's going to avoid a loss. So then when we still lose, our expectations are messed up, right? Our expectations are actually in the wrong spot if you really think of it like that. So don't study with the mindset that you're never going to lose. You have to study with the mindset of, if I win and I continuously use my strategy the right way, then my profits are going to continuously grow, win or lose. All right. So just with that, again, I'm looking at this particular trade setup. I do like the bullishness that came into this candle here. And I always tell you guys, look for the footprints that the market leaves behind, right? When I say footprints, I essentially mean, like these impulses of volume right here, right? We see like this big bullish candlestick right here. And that essentially tells me that somebody else is behind that move, meaning somewhat of an institution, hedge fund, somebody with big boy dollars, right? So we want to trade along with the market makers and the people that move the markets. We don't want to just be, trading in consolidation and trading with the small players, right? So essentially that's why I see this being a particular setup. What happened before London, but it's fine. We may consolidate a little longer, create some more equal highs, take those out, and then continue to drop from there, right? So just with that, that's what I see. So if you guys want a Sunday setup, there you go. I'm gonna continue to go a little bit longer. I'll see if I see anything else for you guys. I'll be honest, this Euro USD, it looks interesting. you know, if I'm going based off of the way that I personally trade, I don't see anything wrong with, you know, taking a sell. It's just, it's a little weird. I'm not gonna lie, it's not the prettiest setup I've ever seen, but you know, I do see the buy to sell. I do see that being a potential thing right there. You just gotta decide whether or not you want it or not. You know, the risk to reward is there. I could see this low possibly being in jeopardy, but the reason why I'm not really too, you know, in on that particular trade setup is because I do believe that the DXY is bearish. I do agree with Abel and Kyle on this particular setup here. You know, I was actually looking for the DXY bearish, push into this area of imbalance. So we all definitely agree on that analysis there. So understanding that we should get more dollar strength, the likelihood for that Euro USD to drop that far is not very likely. You know, us taking this low out is not likely. I do want to stay long on that. So if anything, any sale that I could potentially take will more than likely just be short term, and it would be like a retracement type of trade, right? So, you know, let's just say if I did want to take this, okay? Because essentially, this is what happened with GU last week as well. So, you know, I'm not saying you have to take this, but like if I was to take this, it would probably just be something to probably take out some of these weak lows, because the market can't go up in a straight line. You know, the market has to breathe a little bit. We push down here and then continue. You know what I'm saying? So just with that, that is something that I, you know, see as a possibility. It is a little bit high risk. So, you know, I wouldn't risk a full, you know, percentage or anything like that on that trade. I'll probably risk a fraction of what I typically would risk, right? So that's all the Euro pairs. I do like to just scroll through a handful of pairs just to see if anything else is sticking out to me. All right. So nothing I'm really interested in on the GBPs as of yet. I think I'm gonna just keep it rocking with Euro AUD for now, right? But I do just want to take a quick sec. Let me check the chat real quick. What pairs y'all want to see, guys? Is there anything that y'all are interested in seeing?
And big shout out to our newest subscribers, by the way, too. We appreciate every single one of y'all that's been subscribing so far. You know, hopefully you guys are going to be getting some value tonight. Let's get it.
GJ. Yeah, shout out to all the new subscribers, man. Definitely appreciate the love and support, you guys. Always, man. GJ. Everybody want to trade GJ. Y'all love GJ. Gold. You know, before Wall Street Ray was born, I was actually the golden boy. This was like 2017. Then I moved away from gold because it started moving crazy. But let's see what we got here. Very interesting price. If I'm being completely honest, it's not pretty. And I don't want to make an excuse. If I had to do something, I'd probably go long on it, just because of the way that I identify liquidity. I look at this as all potential liquidity to get taken out. So since I look at this to have the potential to get taken out, I think this will probably continue bullish, right? It just doesn't look nice, in my opinion, but I could see the market continuing bullish. So far as an entry point, since I am gonna go and ride with the bulls, I'd probably say, you know, you don't want to buy at the high. So I probably say wait for that to get taken out, potentially hop in down here, because I do see that demand, you know, we did kind of sweep this low ever so slightly. Then we push up, mitigate, push up, mitigate. This is the last candle that hasn't really been tested yet. So I could see us doing this and then taking out those highs there. That's just an idea though. You know, it's not the prettiest price action for me personally. I'll take a look at gold, then I'll pass it back to the gang, see if they see anything interesting. Shout out to Devin. I saw Devin caught this nasty gold buy from the absolute bottom down there. So shout out to you, bro.
We need Devin to keep catching those buys for us because he's buying us all dinner, he said, when he gets his first payout. We need that.
So essentially similar to Euro USD and GU. You know, like I said, some of this, like, this is like some of the hardest trades to actually identify. But again, you know, we have a lot of bullish momentum right now. If I'm looking at this from just my own technical perspective, I see supply here, right? Where the market had a high that made this new low. So the market could have bounced and kept going lower, but instead it hesitated, then crossed over bullish, okay? So we have our hesi crossover. Now we have a sweep of the lows here, okay? So we sweep lows in the hesi before crossing over bullish. So that means that realistically speaking, that this low should be somewhat strong, right? Now that's probably a thick point of interest. So let's measure it. Yeah, that's 100 pip point of interest. So, you know, this would be a situation, since that wick is so long, you don't want to just take it once you enter the box. You want to actually, you know, take this trade as the price action starts to play out. If the market does way back down, see if you could start consolidating, you know, and then maybe you can get something like this, right? And then you take your trade here, put your stop loss here, and then ride it up. Because this point of interest is so big, you don't want to enter here and go into all this drawdown, all right? So you would wait for the market to actually start consolidating, start accumulating a little bit. And then if you get like a break above, like a break of structure, you get this new high, then we retrace back into the area balance here. I would enter here and target this high up here. So if we do get that, that could be a nice setup where you're risking like 25 to 30 pips and going for 360 or so. Just see what it does within this wick down here. Typically, I don't like taking trades out of wicks, but what I noticed is when the market is a very long wick, there's a difference between just leaving small wicks and having like a very long one like that, because essentially this is a sell to buy candle on like the minute time frame, or sometimes even less than it or lower than that. So just understanding that there was a lot of selling and obviously a lot of buying that took place. So you know, that's the reason why you could definitely get a reaction there. And I mean, even if you take a look at Euro USD, essentially the same thing happens where we took buys out of here. You know, if I go to the 1 hour chart, just this wick, right? So, you know, the market comes into this wick and then it respects it, right? Now, a lot of times wicks equal liquidity, right? But there's a difference between, again, wicks like this and a long wick like that. If the wick is very long like that, then more than likely that's a sell to buy candle on a lower time frame, which makes buying out of it valid. You know what I'm saying? So I would look for longs after a short retracement on gold. All right. But like I said, I don't even know how long I've been going on. I don't want to go too long, but talk to me, guys. What y'all see, man? Anybody Abel Skaggs on here. I don't know if anybody else on here.
Yeah, nah, I mean, I do like that play. I mean, that gold setup too that you were looking at. I think I really like a sweep of that wick, to be honest with you. Like price coming back towards that wick and giving us some play up in there. Like I really do like that because I do think we could find some bullish reactions to the upside for sure on gold. I like that. I think the best setup you looked at so far was probably that EA though. That Euro AUD looks gorgeous.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the risk to reward is there too. I think that's like a what is it? 1 to 13. Oh, that's a 1 to 13 for y'all. All right. Even just going to the low is a 1 to 9, just about. So, you know, if you're trying to get funded, hint, hint, if you're on my Forex funds, take the trade and delete the app and wait for your email to come through. So that's about it, man.
That's a fact.
That's all I see though. You know, taking it easy today. You know, hopefully we get the week started off. A lot of my trades came on Sunday last week, so I'm kind of looking for the same thing this week on a couple pairs, but we'll see.
Yeah, I like that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what
else. Look at Euro CAD. I don't know if you want me to do it or if one of y'all want to do it. Which
nah, you could do it, bro. Go ahead, do your thing.
All right. Let's see what we got. Euro CAD. Trying to act bad. Euro CAD. What's up? All right. So low makes this high. That takes that high. Then we sweep here. We hezzy here. Make a new low. All right. Pretty simple. So this should be a strong high, okay? This is a low. The market is now retracing to take out that internal range liquidity. Now, so here's the thing. So I see this being obviously this is a high that takes liquidity. We also hezzy, then crossover bearish, right? So this is going to be internal range liquidity for my sell retracement, okay? Now, at the same time, whenever we do this, I typically say look for the weak lows and target a weak low. But if we're being honest right now, this high doesn't look all that strong outside of the fact that we sweep liquidity here. But if outside of that, you don't really have large areas of imbalance. We don't really have any large candles here. So I do believe that this will cause a retracement, not a new low, right? So y'all got to realize that some points of interest like this, right? Some of them will make a new low. Some of them will just cause a retracement before they ultimately fail, right? So the real key is really understanding which ones are going to do which. In my opinion, this one will probably create a retracement because although we have some qualities of a strong high, we don't have all of them. So we have this here, right? So we do have this where we take the liquidity here, but what we don't have is large bearish engulfings. What we don't have is any area of imbalance within here. So since we don't have everything checked off the list, this will probably give us a reaction, but it's not going to give us a new low. So since it's going to give us a reaction, now I need to look for the possibility of buys coming into the market. And that's where we'll probably get some buys right here, okay? Here, I also have a high that makes a new low. So this is an area of supply. But instead of going down, the market did what? It hezzy, then crosses over bullish, So now I'm looking at all of this as internal range liquidity. So now we need to come fill all of this empty space in, okay? So now once we do that, I would be looking to sell down to this point. Then once we get down there, I'd be looking to somewhere within that candle, I'd be looking to buy up again, all right? So that's what I see happening on EuroCAD. You believe it's gonna make a new high, a newer high? Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be high, but essentially you should make a high point first, because you don't want to buy up here, you know. So that's why I do see the market potentially retracing. So we could take a sell on the retracement before the actual buy move is ready. All right. So I agree. But
Yeah, that's interesting.
mm,
I mean, something just to keep in mind too for that as well. Just to consider again. Really think about, and now I'm just going to talk about fundamentals a little bit in terms of currency strength from the euro and the CAD. Right, the CAD itself has actually been a very strong currency, guys, as well, just like the dollar has been all year. Right, I think that the CAD has probably been the second strongest currency. There's been a lot of demand for the CAD, a lot this entire year. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. The euro itself, they're at around 2% interest rate, while the CAD is almost close to that 4% as well. So it's definitely, in my opinion, I think that the CAD is just a lot more attractive, right? So I think even if we do take that sweep of the highs up there after we give this little pullback, I think eventually we're going to end up still going back bearish long term for EuroCAD. Right, that's just my opinion. Just comparing interest rates, comparing central banks overall, comparing policies. I definitely am a lot more bullish to CAD, definitely compared to the euro. The euro itself is also experiencing a lot. They still have extremely, extremely high inflation as well, where the Bank of Canada is already, they're already starting to decrease by how much they're raising rates. They were planning on raising rates. I think it was 75 basis points in 2 weeks ago. They didn't even do a full 75 like they expected. They only did around 50, right? So they're leaning towards doing a soft pivot over there for the Bank of Canada, and things like that, guys, is definitely going to influence these markets. And if you look at that, I think that's why we could see the market really just react the way I think, in a more bearish manner, right? But overall, it's going to be interesting to see how this does play out, But I do think your markup for sure is an opportunity for people to go ahead and catch some nice intraday opportunities for sure on this player for EuroCAD.
most
Uh,
definitely. Most
s-
definitely.
Somebody did ask a question though. They asked, "What is internal range liquidity?"
Good question. So internal range liquidity is the areas of liquidity that are within a trading range. Now, I'm not trying to be sarcastic, because but that's really what it is. Like, just really break down the word internal range liquidity. So before you take a trade, you need to identify your trading range, right? So let's say, for example, we have a low that pushes up into a high, right? So this will be the low. Obviously, this will be the high. And now you're looking for somewhere down here to take a buy opportunity from. So this is why they say buy low, sell high. So you wait for the market to go lower, and then you take a buy opportunity that sends the market higher, right? Now, obviously, this is very simple looking. This isn't straight lines. What's really going to happen is the market will do something like this, right? So you'll have a low form, and then you'll have something like this, before you actually create that high, right? So internal range liquidity are the pools of weak lows. This is how I identify them. These are the areas of weak lows or weak highs that are within a trading range. So I know that this is my low. I know that this is my high, but there's liquidity resting here, here, and here. So now the market needs to actually come down and take these areas out, right? These are the areas that we need to take out before the market is actually ready to go up again. All right. Now, I'm about to give y'all some crazy sauce on here, right? I don't even supposed to say all of this, but I'm gonna do it anyway, right? Oh, hold on. My laptop froze. Can y'all still see?
Yeah, we could see it, but we could see that it froze as well.
Oh, man. All right. So look, that's crazy. But anyway, when you're identifying internal range liquidity, essentially you want to find, if you're in a bullish market, you want to find a strong low that pushes up into a high, right? And once the market starts retracing, you want to look at all the weak lows that are in between the strong low in that high. Now, I hope that makes sense. If you just take a look at this, I can't do too much because my screen is frozen. Like, at least trading view is frozen, not my mouse, but trading view is. I'm trying to like do other stuff, but it's not letting me. So you got to realize this is a strong low. All right. Reason being is because we make a low, then we make a slightly lower low, and then the market turns around and goes bullish. So if you know how I identify strong lows, it's like, we have that slight sweep before the market starts to go higher. Now, as the market is finding its higher high point, it's gonna start making these lower time frame higher lows on the smaller time frames, right? So this is why they say there's trends within trends and stuff like that. So essentially, internal range liquidity are the lower time frame low points that could be used as liquidity that's inside of a higher time frame trading range. So I know this is my higher time frame low, this is my higher time frame high. These are lower time frame weak lows that are internal of the overall trading range. So you want to see those areas get taken out because it's building up fuel for the next buy move. The market is a liquidity eating machine. You want to actually see the market like eating liquidity and taking liquidity before it makes its next move. So with that said, you want to look for these areas to be taken first before you actually look for the next impulsive move into a market. So this is essentially how I'm able to get a lot of, low risk, high reward trade opportunities. Because whenever I have an entry, it's underneath or above internal range liquidity. Internal range liquidity is one of the main confirmations that I have to take a trade. If I don't have it, I'm 9 times out of 10, I'm not taking a trade. So, this is very needed in of taking a trade, right? But
Hmm.
I mean, since my chart is kind of frozen, I mean, it ain't no need for me to really do too much more. So y'all
Yeah,
could definitely go ahead and take it from there. All right.
yeah. Now I got you, bro. I'll take over screen share. I mean, family, go ahead and drop some sevens in the chat too for those breakdowns. Like I said, I truly believe our team is powerful just because of what we really offer. And having Ray on the team definitely is a major benefit. Just his ability to analyze the markets and break it down, especially for all you smart money traders out there, all right? Like, that's literally what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's talking smart money concepts. Well, I feel like we have the best of the best with us right here today. You know what I'm saying? So definitely take advantage of all that value. But let me just go over a few things. We're not going to be on here for much longer, guys, but I do see a few different pairs that people want to analyze. Let me go ahead and just look at those really, really quickly. Take a look at GJ. And just give you guys my thoughts and opinions on what I'm looking for GJ going into this week, right? Because it's definitely a fan favorite for sure. It's one of my favorites for sure, right? And this is what I'm looking for, right? It's a very interesting play. So long term, guys, I'm bullish GJ long term, right? Overall, since 2020, we've pretty much been going very bullish, and there's no signs of that slowing down just yet, right? Especially again, I'm always going to talk about things, guys, from a fundamental perspective. So if you really compare central banks again, the Bank of Japan is still doing what they're doing. They're still very much easing, while the Bank of England is very much tightening, right? Again, we did say that their inflation is still very much high, so they're going to continue to tighten, which is only going to make their currency a lot more stronger and stronger, right? So I'm definitely long-term bullish. But what I want to see here as well, right, is as you guys can see these dollar signs here, right? I'm looking to see if these levels right here can give us some opportunities, all right? Because right now I'm looking for the long-term buy, but I need to see again price get into these areas, guys, of liquidity, right? We have this low right here where we have this imbalance. Price can easily spike below this level and then come ahead and rebound and then go into that bullish trend. Because this high right here, guys, is one of those, again, quote unquote, you could say weak highs, right? Just because of this strong bullish candlestick, and then we had a very slow move back down, right? There's really no type of real momentum on this correction, right? So I don't think that this high is really going to hold long term. So I'm looking for buys, guys, on GJ, either below this 164 level, like a spike below that 164, probably even come down here to this last little bearish candlestick right here that we've seen before the market shifted. That could be a play. I'm also going to be keeping my eye on this level as well, right? This 159 level, because this level as well, guys, could be another area that's also doing the same thing, building up liquidity, right? Just like this level right here is probably building liquidity. Every time price comes back down here, guess what all the rookie traders are going to be doing? They're going to be like, oh man, look at that support, look at that support. They're going to be looking to buy that support, and that's only building up that liquidity, right? So same concept here. Most traders are going to probably look at this level as a level of quote unquote strong support, where again the more advanced traders, right, or the more experienced traders, they're going to look at this level and say, okay, we have all this imbalance, we had all that buying pressure that got us up there. This is actually going to be building liquidity, so I don't want to buy off the support. I want to run the support and then look for the rebound, and then from there go ahead and take advantage of that move higher. So that's going to be my focus for this week. For GJ, personally speaking, I have no issue whatsoever, guys, right, taking trades on the sweeps of these lows right here, right? If we sweep this low right here and we actually go ahead and close the imbalance and then we rebound, I'm buying that all day long, no questions asked, risking around 1%, okay, all day long. If I take a loss on that, it is what it is. I'm not going to cry or complain. It's a part of the game. But then when the price comes down to this level, similar concept, right? I do want to see, again, a swipe of this low and then a rebound, and then from there we can go ahead and look for that next play, right? So that's what I'm looking for. I'm still very much bullish, GJ. Last week I did take a couple losses on this thing. You know, it did break my heart a couple times last week, unfortunately, you know, because the pound did ended up losing strength across the board, right? It wasn't just for GJ. The pound lost strength, guys, across the board last week, right? We seen this thing pretty much tank pretty aggressively all last week. So I think for the most part, though, I think we could actually go ahead and look for some buying opportunity, guys. You know, below this 164 level is where I'm going to start looking for some buys for sure. So then go ahead and continue back to the upside. So that's what I'm looking for. That's going to be my focus for GJ. I'm going to be keeping my eyes on it, and we'll take advantage and see what the market definitely gets us for sure. Right. So let me see what else we got here in the chat. Let me make sure we go ahead and catch up with everything. Let's see. Thanks for the info. I appreciate you guys. Let's see. Fire content. I'm learning a lot in this session. Let's go, Devin. I love it. Appreciate you for tuning in for sure. I see Ray. You definitely the one that got me moving the way I do on the charts. Yeah, he's definitely a savage, 100%. All right, let's see. Dixie is tanking. Yeah, I mean, again, I do think that the dollar is probably going to remain bearish until we come and fill some of this wick right here, or not the wick, but come and fill a lot of this imbalance. You know, come down here, run this low right here, guys, for the dollar itself. I do want to see a swipe of that 109 level. And then from there, that's when I think that the demand for the dollar could really pick back up, right down in these levels for sure. All right, so that's where I'm at for the dollar as well. All right, let's see what we got. We got the man Burt in the building. Shout out to the man Burt, man, superstar in the building, guys. Right, I got you. Let's go ahead and take a look at this AUD
Point
USD.
something out, Abel.
Of course.
You know, and I know we get so caught up, especially in the, you know, smart money concepts and stuff like that. But one thing that you do extremely well, you know, just taking a look at that DXY that you had just marked up. I mean, guys, you don't have to overcomplicate this. I mean, this looks like a bullish flag, bro. Like plain and simple as that.
Yeah.
So you guys can apply retail concepts to like really simplify it for yourself, but just understand overall where the strong lows and strong highs really are and where people are really buying and selling. And that's essentially what's going to help you. So you can look at these patterns from a, you know, somewhat of a retail perspective, but then just find your points of interest in your areas that you want to buy and sell from. Look for those from an institutional perspective. And that'll really help you guys, because at the end of the day, it's all about market structure. It's all about, you know, directional bias. And then the hardest part for most people is the entries. So if you just look at that, I mean, that's why we all have the exact same analysis, because we're all essentially looking at the same things. So, you know, really simplify it, guys. That's one thing I just noticed that Abel does very well. He knows how to, you know, look for what's needed but he's not marking up stuff that's not important, you know, trying to look like the smartest trader in the world or anything like that. So, you know, simplicity is key, man. And, you know, I really like how you did that.
Yeah, I mean, I spend my biggest thing for the longest, right? Because I'm not here trying to be the most technical trader, right? I don't care about having the most advanced way of analyze. I care about making money. Like that's really my focus, about getting freaking paid. You know what I'm saying? So if me keeping things simple is what has brought me the most consistency, I'm not going to change it just because there's a lot of hype around certain strategies, right? I will understand other strategies, which is why, again, for me, I also do understand the concept of liquidity. I understand that the market does target these areas of liquidity all the time. So, yeah, we could look at things from more of a retail perspective, but also have that smart money concept mindset in mind as well, right? So it just all plays in. And that's why I tell people, again, it's not, don't get so caught up, guys, on the strategy, right? Because there's always a lot of hype behind certain people's strategies and this and that, where there's thousands of strategies out there that work, literally thousands. It's not about the strategy. It's about how you interpret it and how you actually treat yourself around it. And that's why, I mean, this goes into, you know, a good way to plug in what we're doing here with the Profit Society, guys, because when we actually do fully launch on the platform, in the master classes that we're going to be hosting for you guys inside of the platform is going to be game changer for that exact reason, right? Because these master classes that we're going to be hosting for you guys pretty much once a week inside of the platform, it's not going to be tied to a specific strategy, right? We're just going to teach you guys how to take the current strategy that you guys use and turn that current strategy into a consistently profitable strategy, right? Based off the classes that we're going to teach. I'm not going to get too in depth with you guys on the actual topics just yet. We're going to release all that in the coming future, but just know, you know, that's why the master classes are going to be game changer, because it don't matter if you trade retail or if you trade smart money, if you trade harmonics, or if you trade Elliott waves. Really doesn't matter what you want to trade with. We're going to teach you how to become profitable with your specific strategy. All right, so that's what I'm excited about for sure. But yeah, you know, don't overcomplicate things, guys. No need for it at all. All right, so let's go take a look at AUD/USD really quickly, right? And let's see, what tool did you use for that tool right here, guys? Is this one right here? It's the parallel channel. All right, the parallel channel is what I use just to pretty much, you know, highlight that flag, right? The parallel channel, guys. This is just a little tip as well. You know, if you guys want to get your tools on the screen like how I got mine right here, I mean, favorite them. All right, simply come to your tools over here on the side and just click on the yellow star, and that's going to literally throw it all on the screen for you, so it's easier to actually go ahead and get access to all your tool, right? Just a little pro tip right there. But let's go take a look at AUD/USD, right? So overall, guys, I mean, this market is still very much bearish. I'm still going to be looking for long-term sells on this. But what I do think is very possible going into this week, guys, is probably seeing the market come up here and running this high right here, right? I think that this could be an area, guys, that has really started to build up a ton of liquidity, especially if we look at what has happened, right? We had a very strong bearish push that ended up running this low, right? Strong push. You know, we had a lot of this imbalance that was left behind. And ever since then, we haven't even been able to come back and retest, guys, previous structure, right? All we did now was just create this level of structure right here. And to me, all that's doing is just straight accumulating orders, all right? Accumulating orders. And that equates to a lot of liquidity being left up above these highs. So I wouldn't be surprised if by this week for AUD/USD, we see like a little pull down, you know, go ahead and retest this last bearish candlestick, but ultimately send us higher, capture all this liquidity. And then from there, we can go ahead and start to look for some shorts, maybe off of this little order block, or, you know, up in these areas somewhere up here, we can start looking for some shorts for sure, right? So that's what I would be targeting. That's what I would be looking for AUD/USD. You know, maybe some short-term strength, but eventually after we run these highs, probably go ahead and start looking for that, for the market itself, guys, to go back into the overall bearish trend that we ultimately been in. All right, so that's what I'm looking for. Bert, hopefully that gives you some clarity for sure. And yeah, you know, that's gonna be my play for AUD/USD. All right, let's see. Check BTC. BTC tanking. BTC. Okay, let's go take a look at Bitcoin. I see a few of you guys want to look at Bitcoin real quick. So let's see what we got here for Bitcoin. All right, so cryptocurrency market. There's been a lot of talks about the market, guys, overall, especially over the last couple weeks. We started to see Bitcoin gain some strength, right? We've seen these little bounces up, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, right? I'm not a crypto bull until we see a couple things, right? Until we get into around the end of 2023, 2024, when the halving is about to happen, the Bitcoin halving is about to happen. Or I'm also going to be a Bitcoin or a cryptocurrency bull as a whole once the Fed does actually make their pivot, right? Once the Fed starts to lower interest rates, guys, you best believe everybody's going to start running back into those assets, right? They're going to start running back into the stocks. They're going to start running back into cryptos, into real estate. They're going to start running back into all these things because, again, that's what a pivot is pretty much going to promote that, right? So I'm not a bull long term until we see the Federal Reserve fully pivot and starts to lower rates long term. Okay, so that's just overall macro perspective of Bitcoin. So with that being said, I think this low right here will eventually get taken out. Now, before we even see that thing taken out, though, I also do think that we can also possibly run this high first. Right, it's a very good possibility. Again, we are looking at this thing from the daily time frame, guys, so keep that in mind. But I think there is a very interesting or a good chance for the market to actually go ahead and be a little bit of bullish right now, bring some confidence in, but ultimately run this high, and then from there, go ahead and go back bearish overall. So I'm still long-term bearish, just like I said. I'm not changing my ideas or my opinions on that unless the Fed decides to change course or we end up getting a lot closer to that to the actual Bitcoin halving itself. So that's what I'll be looking for. I would not be surprised if we did just go a little bit more higher, maybe even run this high, give us a little reaction off of that high, and then maybe come a little bit higher and then give us that bigger reaction to go ahead and send us much back to the downside. All right, so that's what I would be looking for Bitcoin. But long term, I'm still very much bearish this. All right, so let's see. Nice little inverted head and shoulders on AUD USD. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. Right, we look at gold yet. They did look at gold. But I'll go ahead and give you guys my thoughts and opinions on gold because I actually do have a markup for it as well that I'm actually very interested in it. This is going to be an interesting one, right? Because long-term, guys, I'm still very much bearish gold, right? I mean, gold itself has not really been acting like a safe haven at all, like it traditionally has been known as. The only safe havens that we really have seen, guys, just because of all the fear, uncertainty, and doubt across the entire world, the only safe havens has been usually like the U.S. dollar and, maybe government bonds, right, and treasuries and things like that. So gold really hasn't been acting like a safe haven. It's pretty much been moving in unison to what like the crypto and the stock market has been doing, which is kind of crazy. So I do think long term we are going to continue bearish. Now, where do I think can go? I'm actually going to be interested, guys, in seeing how we react around this 1695 level. All right, I'm going to be interested for that. And this is just me personally, right? I think that 1695 level is going to be a very attractive level, right? Just because if we look in the past, I mean, this is clearly an area of interest, guys, right? So I think if we can run this 1685, grab all this liquidity, get us up into that 1695, I think that we could see a nice strong reaction sending us back bearish. I mean, we have a ton of liquidity down below these lows, right? I mean, our lowest point here was created back in September, right? We're in November now, right? So every time we came back down, we never even swept none of this low down here on gold. All that's doing is building up all this liquidity, right? So that's why I'm more so leaning towards this direction. I think the liquidity below these lows is a lot more attractive to go ahead and target as opposed to possible higher liquidity, at least for me. So I'm really interested, guys, in this 1695 level. So once we get up in there, I'll start looking for some bearish reactions, some bearish structure to come into play. And then hopefully we can go ahead and get an entry and, ride this thing down. But I'm definitely going to be targeting all the way back down to these lows, so we can go ahead and eventually run these lows for sure, right? So that's what I like. That's what I like for gold, personally speaking. Let's see. Do you guys look at SPX? Yeah, we could take a look at some of the indices as well. And then we'll pretty much wrap it up very shortly. But let's take a quick look at the index market overall, guys. Overall, we did experience a very bearish week last week for the indices, which, again, I'm not surprised on. It is what it is. I've been very bearish. I mean, pretty much this entire year, we've been very bearish, the indices, even since last year. But it's what I'm looking for, right? For these indices. Let me go ahead and bring this back up, right? I'm interested to see exactly how we play off of this level right here coming up into this next week, right? Because what we see here, guys, in the market overall is there's a very possible chance of this market to pull right back up into this level up here around this 38.50 level. Maybe fill some of this wick right here that we have on this 4 hour, right? That was caused by news overall. And I think there is a good chance for us to really go ahead and go bearish, right? We have a bunch of lows right here that I think are areas that we can definitely go ahead and potentially target like this low right here, this low right here. Now, again, we do have to keep our eyes on this low because this low right here was also taken out by, this swipe right here, right? But I think that we could get a nice shorting opportunity up in this 38.50, 38.60 level. And at the very least, just target maybe back down to here, right? I think that this could be a very interesting setup here, guys, on SPX, something like this. Give us around a 3-to-1 risk to reward, something light. If you wanted to maybe even target this next low just so we can run that, that's around a 4-to-1 risk to reward here on SPX. So that's what I will be looking for. Keep in mind, again, depending on what happens on Thursday, guys, everything that we're telling you right now could completely shift. All right, depending on what happens on Thursday with CPI, everything that we're telling you right now could completely shift. Right, so please do not forget that we do have major news on the horizon that can obviously go ahead and shake a lot of different things overall. Right, but for right now, this is what I would be looking for, guys. For SPX for sure. Let's see. Could I hear your thoughts on the comment I posted? Let me go ahead and see what comment you got, Eric. Okay, I see it. Last week, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet acknowledged concerns about a potential breakdown in the trading government debt and expressed worry about a loss of adequate liquidity in the markets. That's interesting, right? I haven't personally heard about that, Eric. So I really don't know exactly what they're talking about in terms of loss of adequate liquidity. Like, I'm really not sure. I have to do some research for you, Eric, and come back to you with that, right? Because I don't want to just give you a answer just to try to sound like I know, right? Because I gotta do a little bit more research on, right? But I will get back to you with some information on that, because now you just gave me something to go ahead and start to educate myself on, right? So I definitely will go ahead and get that information and give you my thoughts once I get it, for sure. All right, let's see. Call the end of the week sell entry on Silver. Let's go, Silver Surfer. You really changed your name to Silver Surfer, too. That's amazing, bro. Shout out to you, my boy Reap. All right, big bag. All right, Silver pays out tremendously. All right, tremendously. But, family, again, we do appreciate you guys for turning on. I'm not sure if any of the other guys got anything to say. I know some of you guys were probably hoping Skaz was going to talk, but he's not feeling too well. So he's definitely he definitely deserves to get some rest. He's been putting a lot of work in for the team. But if any of the other guys want to go ahead and give any last-minute thoughts or opinions, definitely go ahead and unmute yourself. If not, that's cool. Family, we're going to go ahead and just wrap this up. I appreciate you guys. I see, Ray, you might have something to say, Ray?
I did just want to take a quick peek at NAS. I don't think with that. I mean, essentially, it moves very similar to SPX.
Mm-hmm.
So, something similar to that. But I do see a potential trade setup approaching on NAS. Because, I was actually prepared. I was so mad I overslept on Friday because I turned off my 6 a.m. alarm and I forgot to set the next one that I wanted right before news. But I did miss that buy. But at the same time, I don't know if that's going to be necessarily strong. I do feel like the market is going to fill in more of this area of imbalance before it decides to return bullish. So with that, if you guys want to set up for tonight, possibly, and I usually don't trade NAS at night personally, but it is what it is. I do believe that the market will drop to take out these lows here and possibly even these lows down here, right? I want us to fill in a little more of this imbalance here and then possibly go bullish, all right? So me personally, I'm gonna be taking a trade on NAS when it gets down here. Reason being is because we're sweeping highs, making new lows, right? Sweeping highs here, making new lows, breaking this lower time frame structure. So we have a high that swept liquidity. We have lows that are creating liquidity. So now we have this going on right here in the market. So I do feel like we're gonna go ahead and drop and potentially take out this low right here. So we got SPX and potential NAS 1 to 8 right there. So that's something I'll be taking tonight along with Euro AUD. So just keep your eyes on it if you want it. If not, You know, we could just wait till the morning. I know a lot of people trade NAS for New York, but I did just want to put that out there because I know we got a lot of people that trade indices. So that's all I got. So you know, if you ain't got nothing else, you know, we could definitely call it a night after that, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get it. But family, we do appreciate you guys for tuning in. Just keep in mind, if you guys are not a part of the Profit Society family, we do have a social media platform for traders, built by traders. It's a place where you're able to go ahead and just pretty much not just learn, but network with other traders, right, and get better. Just go straight to the ProfitSociety.co website, and we'll see you on the inside in there. Also, keep in mind, guys, Tuesday through Thursday, we do live trading, right? We go live during New York session every Tuesday through Thursday inside of the platform as well. All right, so if you want to actually watch us trade live in real time, right, not just do these markups, right, but actually execute on these trades, I highly encourage you guys to get inside of the platform. I highly encourage you guys to go ahead and tap in, and I highly encourage you guys to show up because it's going to be game changer, right? But family, we appreciate you guys. We love y'all. Thank you guys for rocking with us today, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday for sure. All right, y'all. Have a great rest of you guys' night. Let's get it.